Well, I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, prescription for your transformation, real people, real conversations, and a real success. Really excited to be talking to Andrew Assini today. And it's really all about recovery, finding that place where we can recover from a place that we found ourselves in and perhaps didn't even know how we actually got there. And it's true of many, many people out there. And part of the challenge is that we get lost. We get lost somewhere in the world of confusion, of uncertainty, of fear, of all the different things that could take place in our life. And the key to our personal success, the key to being able to get out of that place is really honestly a spiritual journey. It's a journey that you have to take because without that spiritual journey, it's not likely that you're going to find whatever it is that you need to find to heal yourself. And that's the story of Andrew. If I understand him correctly, and I'm really eager to understand, what his experience has been, because it's because of what he's experienced that he is a healer and a teacher and a guide for so many people out there. So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining me today on Facebook Live.
Thanks, man. It's a blessing to be here.
So I love the fact that not only are you a professional in mental health, and so you've done all the education and the curricula and everything else, but you've gone really beyond that. And I think that's a key component to many of the services that you can provide for people because you bring more of that holistic approach. I mean, it's that spiritual end of things. It's the worldly, environmental things. It's the intuitive things, and not just a bunch of data from books. And as a doctor myself, and really grasping that part of life, my approach to a lot of what I do is also a much more holistic one. But I know nothing about what you do, and so I'm eager to hear from you. First of all, your process of your own recovery and how you're able to support people with theirs.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I'd like to know what it is that I'm exactly doing. But yeah, I think that just coming from a sincere and authentic place and being able to tap experience in a particular way and show up for somebody is really a huge piece, if not the core of it. I mean, my own recovery, I drugs and alcohol and a little bit of gambling were like some of the flavor that prescribed the pain that was required in order to start the transformation process. So yeah, so I mean, I'm like personally familiar with those particular flavors of pain, if you will. But what I've come to understand is that like whatever the pain is far less important than the fact that like we have pain and now we're seeking to do something different. So then meeting people in that place where they're just willing to do what is necessary in order to to make a change is yeah.
So in a way,
Yeah.
if I perceive it correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that pain got you into that place in the first place, and it's pain that also got yourself out.
Uh yeah, sure. I mean, I like we can say I talk to folks and it's like, oh man, I got all this, all this poop is happening. Life is pooping on me. And it's like, all right, or are you being provided with ample amounts of fertilizer for the growth that's about to take place? And
Right.
yeah, man. Totally. I mean, I always like one of my favorites is like, imagining what it's like to be whatever a little fluffy chicken thinks it is before it comes flying out of the egg. Like that process has got to be a little scary.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, for some things to be born, other things have to die, and I don't know.
So so
It's
what
magic.
what
Yeah.
so what's a typical? I mean, there's nothing typical, I guess, but what's a tipping point? What's that point, perhaps in your case, that you said enough is enough, and I'm going to change? I mean, how did that happen for you?
So I actually did some of my master's thesis stuff around trying to find out, like, because I mean that's like $1 billion question, right? Like
Right.
if we know that if you get to a certain spot that then sets the dominoes in motion, like okay, cool, let's do that. But it seems like everybody's tipping point is different. I mean, compared to some of my friends and some of the folks that I run with, my bottom, if you will, was maybe more shallow, but in some ways it was deeper than other people could imagine. So, I mean, why? My current operating theory is that there's actually multiple windows that some sort of event will take place, which will cause enough pain or enough of an impact that kind of like pops open a window of opportunity. And then in that window of opportunity, we can then kind of take, take advantage of that and run with it. Like we're granted a grace period to then begin to try to like put things together differently. But if we don't run with it, that window will close. And then
Right.
it's who knows how much longer until some other event is the impetus for maybe another window of opportunity. So yeah, I don't
So,
know, man.
would it be true then? And as I'm thinking and kind of experiencing perhaps an idea or sense of your experience,
Mhm.
but is it perhaps a combination of, okay, I've got enough pain, but I also have a direction I can go in. I have clarity as to where I can go, or I've got a solution or a semblance of a solution. Because the truth is, if you're in pain, you're still in pain. If you don't know where to go, then you're still stuck.
Yep, 100%. I had my kind of like or one of my big like awakening moments that something had to be different, but I didn't really start making a change until about 6 months later because I didn't know what to do. Like I knew something had to be
Right.
different, but I didn't know what to do. And then I was blessed to meet a couple individuals who were able to then set me off. Like okay, like hey, try this thing, um, and in a way that wasn't like you need to do this. It was like an invitation to a different way of being. And yeah, and I mean I'm forever grateful for the folks that were there. Yeah.
So what was your inspiration to go down the path of becoming a mental health professional and then helping others, overcome this?
So so I'm kind of like a recovering know-it-all. So once I realized I had like mental health issues, I figured I should be the guy that tells other people they have mental health issues. But no, I mean really it kind of just unfolded naturally. What I've come to understand now is like I'm a healer. I've always been a healer. The energy about me provides a healing teaching space, and uh, and when I stopped trying to like make it all work the way I thought it should, the universe got to borrow me back, and then I got to be put to like to the use that maybe I was more intended for. Um,
Right.
so yeah, yeah, it wasn't. I
Well,
don't. I didn't pick this. It kind of
right.
I just stopped fighting it.
Well, what I respect about you is that, in essence, you are more professional than most because you've already gone through that process, and so you're more qualified because you know what it's like and you know the different aspects of it personally, and
Mhm.
so that gives you the credence to help others. But also, in my opinion, kind of sort of leverage. Said, look, guys, since I've done it, then you can do it.
Mhm.
And that has to be a really powerful tool. But one thing you shared with me before we started today, and I really like what you said, and these are some of your talking points, and that's waking up. Share with the listeners what that's about in your perspective, waking up and remembering.
Um, so waking up, it can come with like I don't, it can come with all the fancy dressings of like a Buddha or some stories from different cultures and whatever. But really more and more just a simple understanding of like awareness and shifting behaviors. That in a sense we're waking up from beliefs or behavior patterns, reactions to our emotions, reactions to our environment. The whole thing or any piece of it. We're kind of waking up from or becoming more conscious from behavior patterns, belief systems that we could say we were asleep or just were unconscious. They were operating in the background and we weren't aware that they were there or how they might be impacting us. So that's I guess the psychological spin. But from like a spiritual orientation, I mean, really waking up and the word remembering I love because it like we don't have to become something else. Like all we have to do is kind of remember like a truer, deeper core or essence of ourself, and that this process of healing and transformation is much less becoming something else and much more letting go of what isn't truly us and falling back into the embodiment of the presence. Um, so yeah, so I like waking up. I mean, the word recovery, I like in the recovery world, there's like a huge stigma around like addict and addiction. So now it's recovery, but then you're defined by what you're recovering from. Whereas like waking up is like, I'm a human being who is waking up from the person story into the embodiment of my like spirit or soul or whatever it is. So then I'm like this, energy spirit hippy dippy thing, whatever people want to call it. But it feels truer. And then I get to have this human ride. And it's just, I don't know, it's so much different of an experience than being a person and having all my, I need a job, I need a house, I need a car, I need to be as good as, I need to be like, just, it's just a totally different wavelength, man. It's a totally different
Right.
experience. So,
So tell me one thing, because and again, I really appreciate how you present that.
mm,
What does it feel like when you're waking up? I mean, so people can get an idea of what your personal experience is as waking up.
uh, it's like, equal parts the most amazing thing ever and the most terrifying thing
Hmm.
ever. I
Oh,
mean,
is it terrifying too, waking up?
oh, 100%. I mean, who wants to actually
Okay.
like deal with and look at and feel the things we don't want to deal with, don't want to look at, and don't want to feel? That the experience of being in the room with the biggest fear, or like sitting in a room and talking about the thing that you never want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, the the terror that can come. And what's cool is after a while you start to realize that terror really can be interpreted as excitement, right? Because we're about to make a huge leap in our understandings and our ability to forgive and love. But yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, like if everybody, like if all waking up was like the most beautiful, blissful thing ever, everybody would be doing it. But the
Well,
reality is
I
that,
just don't. I don't think people are aware of what that possible feeling can be. But
oh,
part of
okay.
the challenge, I think, is, and that's my opinion. Part of the
Uh-huh.
challenge is that the fear, or at least in my personal experience, is that the work is hard to get there. The path work to get there is hard. It's
100%.
difficult. It's
Yep.
scary. But
Hmm.
once you've done it, once you've resolved it, then it's almost elation. It's liberation. It's freedom. It's power. Whatever you want to be, and you're kind of like on top of the world. It's the coolest feeling. And that's been my experiences. But getting there, yes, I agree, can be extremely fearful.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. We just gotta be careful though, because I mean, then we just build another mountain to fall down. So we gotta be willing to burn the boats, once we get on the shore. But yeah, yeah. It's there was a thought that came and then it went. Oh well.
So it's
Yeah.
really, I guess, being more in the moment, doing what you love to do, being aware of where you're at, what's wrong,
Yeah.
accepting, you
Yes.
know, what when I use the word wrong, I mean there's nothing in essence wrong. It's just that it's
Mhm.
not what you want it to be. I
Yes.
have my personal belief, and this is something I learned from Eva Pierakis from the Path work and the work that she's done. Also,
Nice.
book Fear No Evil, and that we all desire divine happiness, but to have divine happiness we have to resolve whatever makes us unhappy,
Hmm.
and that's the hard work, and that's the challenge, and that's the
Hmm.
fear. So I know we're short of time, and I was hoping we have a little more time, so definitely we'll be talking some more, but I do have one question for you.
Yeah.
Is and I agree, I don't like the labels or anything else, but for people to avoid getting in this stuck state where they're dependent on substances and things like that. I
Hmm.
mean, what kind of advice or insights, can you share with others so that they don't go down that path, they don't go down that rabbit hole and get lost?
Well, so like what's coming through at the moment is that like if that's their path, that's their path.
Okay.
If Sure, I have a niece and a nephew, love them. I would not want to see either of them. I would not want to witness or be a part of watching either of them go through some of the experiences that I've had to go through. At the same time, though, I mean, like those experiences have helped shape me and make me available in ways, and I've seen it in tons of friends and tons of other people where it's like, I, I don't know. I mean, like a person's path is a path. Now, can we curb that? 100%. Um, are we going to get rid of it? No. I mean, that's it's a part of, to a certain degree, addiction really is just the like grossest exaggeration of what suffering is for any human being in any form. right?
Right.
It's an attachment to something outside of ourselves that we think is going to make the inside okay. But as long
Right.
as we carry a belief that we're not already okay, we're never getting away from the suffering. So if you need drugs or alcohol or food or sex or spending or gambling or any of those things to like provide the required pain to then make us take a look at how we're living so that we can reevaluate and move through some of the junk, um, okay, you know, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know that it's, I don't know that there's like a, we fix that because I don't know that that's broken. It's not a pretty part of our experience, but I think in a lot of ways it might be a necessary part that stimulates growth. Um,
Right.
so,
Well, it's true. I mean, depending on what you choose to focus on, your worst times can become your best times, and but that also comes with awareness, and which you fortunately have, and many people have, but some people don't, and they just stay
mhm,
stuck. And it's because that, in my belief, the lack of clarity, lack of not the awareness of what direction they can go in. And so my
mhm,
thoughts are always, not to, um, how should I put it, not to have people necessarily not have the pain, but when we can have that awareness without the pain, why not? If we still can have that the luxury of not having to suffer so much,
I want,
why not? Right?
hey, I want the peace and the awareness, but I don't want to suffer. I don't want no pain. Sign me up.
Right.
I think they
Sign me up.
prescribe. I think they have prescriptions for that, except it don't work for too long.
Right,
um,
exactly. So,
no.
well,
Yeah.
I know our time's up, but how do people get a hold of you?
What? I'll give you this one more nugget, and then I'll do it real fast.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think I think to a certain extent, though, you are correct in a particular way that we don't necessarily have to glorify this story of like needing the pain to then have the
Right.
experiences to then wake up. Like really, the ability to be present is available right now to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So like if this is truly the core of the experience or whatever the words are, it's always available. So we don't like we can wake up right now. There doesn't have to be a whole, epic 3-part trilogy of our life. We can do that. It's just a lot of times it's hard to leave that behind unless there's, proper motivation in whatever form. Um,
Right.
all right, so there's that. That sounded good, so I went with it. Um,
Well said, and again, I appreciate what you said. I mean, we don't have to glorify, our challenges and our suffering.
mhm,
What's the fact is a fact, and whether you went through it or not, but it doesn't mean that you have to go through it. I mean, you have choices. We all have choices, and I agree with you 100%.
yep,
But what I do respect about you, and grateful that you're on this platform today with me, is helping people realize that yes, there are alternatives, there are solutions, and certainly with
mhm.
guides like yourself, people can find a quick way out to where they want to get in life rather than being stuck. So I want to thank you for that. So if
Yeah,
people want to get a hold of you, how do
there
they
we
get
go.
a hold of you?
I guess Drew at consciouscontact.org. I don't know. Maybe I'll can I post links to this thing when it's in the Facebook
Absolutely,
world?
yes, you
All right,
can.
cool. All right.
I want you to. Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, that would be probably the best bet. It would be. I mean, I don't know, on Facebook. I mean, you can connect to. We got a nonprofit, the Actualizing Awesomeness Alliance, that we've started, which is amazing. We have a private practice I've just combined with a wonderful young lady, Erin. We're doing like counseling, but like integrative, holistic, spiritually aware and infused counseling. And then we have a meditation, like a Seva donation-based meditation center. And we actually are bringing all three of those together onto this brand new piece of property that we just purchased.
Love it.
So it's cool, man. Yeah, and I don't know. Everybody
Well, what
come
I'd
and
like
hang
to
in
do
with
is
us.
what I'd like to do is invite you back on this platform again and talk about
Sure.
all those things that you're doing. I want
Cool.
to have some more time because that's the solution part of all the things that are available to us, and it's nice to know what's out there because that was my own story. I mean, I'd done all my training, all these things, and I was stuck and I didn't know why, and I just found some incredible answers out there, and that's been my path, getting to where I am today. But Andrew, I really want to thank you for today. And I am Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, real success, talking to the gifted and talented people out there in the world that actually have a solution for you. And I really want to, yeah, I'm looking at him right now. And I love the energy that you have, and the fact
Thank
that you really truly are guiding people to their own healing. And so I want to thank you for that, and respect you for that, Andrew. Thank you so much.
thank you for the opportunity, man. Really appreciate it.